Welcome back to SHIGITY listeners. This is episode 3 brought to you by Fellwinter's Lie, the sniper everyone uses but probably shouldn't use. We're here with Granddad Gaming and Dagshew. How are you guys doing today?
Very good, thank you. Good
Uh,
to be
doing
here.
doing great. Thanks for the invitation.
So, Dag, you were in last week's episode and we talked about kind of the raid before the raid came out. What was your first impression of the raid, the new raid?
My first impression was that I think it was a little easier than I originally thought it would be, with the contest modifier. That being said, we didn't finish it on day one, but we did have a good time. As I mentioned in the previous episode, my concentration with the team I put together was not necessarily to give us the absolute best chance of clearing it. Right, that wasn't the concentration. The concentration was having fun time with some guys I like to game with and people that I could easily game with for 12 to 24 hours without without there being any issues. And it was we
Right.
had a really great time.
That's awesome, man. Granddad, how did your day one raid go?
Yeah, I was the same as Dags. I didn't get the clear. We basically started off with our team of 6, and then as soon as World First happened, all the other content was released. So uh, there was a guy in our fire team who's a YouTuber, so we had to get off and cover all that
Right.
thing for his YouTube channel. So that took a couple of hours, and then when he joined back up, the sort of flow had gone out of the team. So we made the decision to stop. I think it was about 2 in the morning UK time, and I hosted out to Dags, obviously, and he was still on A tracks. Which, funnily enough, is where we ended. And then we agreed to meet back on Sunday morning. We didn't end up starting again till just before dinner time on Sunday morning. So we gave ourselves like 6 hours to do it. We got to the end boss, and we were just lacking DPS. So I think we've all said next time we won't have the YouTube guy in, and he's even agreed. He said probably not the right team to commit to a 24-hour
Right.
slog to get a day one emblem. Uh, it would have been nice to do it with that team, because on the Sunday, obviously there was Cloud Strike, there was Lament, there was the Vex training thing. It was like it opened up the full DLC, didn't it? So he was busy on the Sunday as well, so we had to draft someone else in anyway. In hindsight,
Vex.
we should have done that anyway,
What do
I
you mean
think.
Vex training thing? You talking about the Exo challenge?
The EXO challenge, yeah,
Gotcha. Okay,
that's
I
it.
was about
That's
Vex
the one.
training. That sounds like a new tribute hall. I'm in.
We
Oh,
need a tribute hall. I miss that place.
yeah, me too. If they're not gonna give us a tribute hall, at least give us ammo synths back.
Mm.
Um.
Yeah, heavy ammo synths. They were a thing, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were.
We attempted. My clan and I attempted the raid yesterday. We made it to the final boss. This is our first raid attempt, and we went in with no knowledge and no Sherpa, and we were just looking up guides the entire time. Uh,
Yeah.
First encounter went well. The fuses or whatever went well. It was super easy. But Atrax absolutely destroyed us.
Yeah.
He was a tough one. I think I figured out something about Atrax. Um, so I was tethering Atrax before I would hit him with my sword. I was up in space, and the tether, obviously, it gives me that marker for top tree tether, so I could see him through walls and shit when he teleports. I
Hmm.
think there's only one real Atrax, and if you look very closely, when he teleports, he gets swapped in with another one, and you really don't have to pass the buff between space and base. If you pay enough attention, like close enough attention, you can see which one transports in and out. It's really fast, but if you have good enough eyes, you can see which one transports in and out, and you can just damage immediately.
Ah, right. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video of the actual boss. like miles away in space, and you can damage him with like chaos reach and stuff before like before he teleports and things like that. I think Glad put a video on Twitter.
I haven't watched that
the
yet. I'll
actual
have to check that
boss.
out.
Yeah, make sure you watch it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Yeah, I'll tag you in that on Twitter so you can.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Yeah,
can have
I'll
a look
check
at
that
it.
out for sure. So the raid took about what 6 hours day one to clear, 6-7 hours,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. That was the best team. Yeah.
Well, so I didn't see who actually won. I know I don't remember the name, but was it a cheater group or was it a legit group? Did Bungie say at
No,
all?
I believe it was a Gillette group.
Yeah,
Okay.
legit. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the cheaters did not get worlds first. That is good.
Yeah, that would have been bad for the game, but I think as long as they would have been found out, I think
I think that's.
everyone knows that cheaters are out there, don't they?
Oh yeah.
But I think if a cheater group would have got worlds first, I think it just puts more spotlight on that element of the game, and it's a negative element which we don't really want.
Right. I did hear. I don't know. I don't know that I've seen any proof of it, but I did hear that they revoked a lot of the day one clears because they found out that people did cheat in the first 24 hours. I think I heard that. I don't know if that's completely speculation or if that's actual, but it would make sense that's the thing.
Yeah, a couple of my mods got their day one clear. They got, I think it was 301st in the world, which is not bad out of 5,000 and 6,000, whatever it was.
There's a ton
when
of
we
people
finished, yeah, when we finished at 2, whatever time it was, when they just finished at that time, and one of them looked on Twitch because they had a tab open for me, and they were watching your run, Dags, and he said it took him about 5 minutes to realise it wasn't me. And then he messaged me on Discord. He said, "Where are you?" I said, "Oh, and I explained what had happened. That we were going to revisit in the morning." He said, "We'll jump back on now and we'll clear it with you and get you your emblem." I just thought that would not go down well with the team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they all wake up in the morning, I'm there with the emblem. So I had to show a bit of loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. People say it's only an emblem, but it is.
Right.
It's an emblem you'll never get again unless you buy it from someone.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I would have liked to have got it, but not the end of the world. I was gutted for the first the day afterwards. I've got to admit, I was gutted, but
so the final boss, were you guys shocked at all to find out it was Taniks?
Yeah, I was. I thought it would be Clovis Spray.
I did too.
I had heard a few things and saw saw some things that people had discovered, and I really thought that it would be Clovis Spray. I was shocked that it was Taniks.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm saying I wasn't shocked. I only wasn't shocked when I got there because I already knew. But when someone came in the chat and said, "Oh," and spoilt it basically, said, "Oh, Taniks is the end boss." But I was the same as Dags. I did think it would have some sort of link to, or would be Clovis Bray or Cade 6. Or that was a crazy idea, but I thought that might be a thing.
Yesterday, I was watching a cutscene on stream between Clovis, Anna, and the Exo Stranger. And he said something about Banshee being Clovis, but Clovis is like Banshee or something like that. If Bungie fucks with my boy Banshee, I'm going to be very upset.
He said something like, "We retrieve my Banshee model" or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, something about retrieving his Banshee, like they're going to talk soon, and I threatened him to unplug him from the Ethernet. I wish it was that easy. I have a feeling that Clovis is going to be a boss at some point in time.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Atheon isn't the final boss of the... fuck, why did I just forget the name of it?
Vault of Glass.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know why that slipped my mind. It's only been 6 years.
One of the guys in our clan, he's always got his tinfoil hat on with his conspiracy theories, but he thinks that like the mods from the raid, like the herd mod and all these the mods where you do more damage with when you're in operator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He sort of like thinks that there's going to be a prestige version coming out of something where they'll become relevant, because at the moment they're not relevant, are they? It's like it's an easy raid. You don't need them mods
Right.
at this moment in time, but I hope they do something more with it, because I think it's a good raid, but it's going to get old very quickly. I fear.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, pretty easy, especially when you're overlying. I mean, the difference between day 1 and day 2 was night and day. I mean, those of us that ran it on day 1 gained 40 power in the raid, like from midnight to from 1 minute till midnight to 1 minute after, 1 minute before 24 hours to 1 minute after 24 hours, gained like 40 light on it, and it became much easier. For people like Granddad and I that do a lot of raid helps, that's pretty good.
Right.
Because we're able to get people through easier, even if they're a little underlight. I've had a few people that are like, I'd like to run it, but I'm only 1230, and I'm like, if everybody was 1230, that's a bit of a problem. But if you're running with a bunch of people that are 1270, it's really not that big a problem.
Currently, the team I'm running with is I got 1220 guys, and the rest of us are above 40.
Okay.
So it should hopefully go well.
1240 is still a little tough because that final encounter is 1260.
Yep.
And
That's where we're at too.
And we've got there have already been some new DPS strats for the final boss.
Oh really?
I think if your group has good survivability, very good survivability, I think it makes the encounter a little easier.
They know how to stay alive. It's a matter of just getting bombarded with damage. Like so during Taniks, I was on suppressor team, or Taniks phase 1, I guess. But I was on suppressor team, and I switched from tether. I was running tether. Somebody told me to run tether, and I'm like, all right. I switched from tether, ended up going stasis, and just kept throwing my ult out in the middle so that because for some reason we put our 1020 or 1220 guys in scanner positions, and they're sitting there right in the middle getting bombarded by literally everything. And I'm like, this is stupid. They're going to get melted. I'm just going to throw all my ults over here and help them out the entire time. Yeah. That was a nightmare. We figured out that you could dupe the nukes. So that was cool when we didn't realize a nuke duped and we had to wipe for the 30th time.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we don't know how it happened either. We would dunk it in the thing, and I tried the Pit of Heresy method as well, and it didn't work. So I'm not sure how they're duping.
Have you done that, Dags?
No, I've not duped any nukes. I don't know. When it comes to the primary goal of some of those encounters is to dispose of the nukes. So if you dupe one, then I would think you would have an extra one left over, which it would be important to dispose of that.
Yeah, it was causing us to wipe quite a bit when they would dupe. And it was just random too. It didn't happen every time, but it did happen often enough to where it became annoying. And we'd be like, and I couldn't pick it up because I still had 9 or damn near 9 of the nuclear shit. And my team's like, what do you mean? We already dunked 2 of them. I'm like, no, there's another one sitting right here on the floor, bro. You need to come get it. And it wouldn't have a marker. It wouldn't have a nuke marker. It would be just completely... It just looked like a ball on the ground. And it would explode and wipe the whole team. Damn near. Yep. It was annoying. I do like that this raid is heavily mechanic based. I think the raid is fun, but it will die out fast.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I fear, and I hope that my resident tinfoil hat man is is correct, and
You get a prestige
there'll be
version.
some sort of prestige version. I mean, they haven't have they since Leviathan, so
Right.
That's true.
I'd be
I
surprised if they do. But
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to do a prestige version. I do think that there's a possibility that there will be other challenges, right? Like, I could see one where in some of the encounters, everybody you can only hold one buff. Nobody can hold the same buff twice. That
yeah,
type thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I could see something like that being, there being some reason for that in the future. But
Similar to is it Scourge, which had a challenge like that where you couldn't get the same buff
yeah,
twice.
yeah, there was a one of the challenges in Scourge, the challenge for the encounter before the last one where you went down and got the buffs and came and dunked them in the spots for the tanks. Nobody could hold the same buff more than once. That was the challenge. I could see that being the case in that raid. That would make sense. It would be a little tricky to to coordinate, but that's the type of stuff we like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to challenge modes. I'm hoping that becomes a thing because last time I actually did a challenge raid was Taken King, and I always loved the challenge modes in there, except for Golgoroth. That can fuck right off. But
Yeah, challenge
um,
mode. Good. I loved Wrath of the Machine challenge mode.
I
Oh
never
yeah,
got to do the challenge mode for Wrath. I never actually got to
Yeah,
finish Wrath. Um,
right.
let's
it's
go
good.
do
Oh,
it.
I love that raid.
I don't have
Love that
D1
raid.
installed.
Yeah,
Um,
I got into D1 just as Rise of Iron. Well, just it was about 2 or 3 weeks before Rise of Iron released
mm,
because they brought out Destiny the Collection, and a bunch of my friends were already into it, but I was still hanging on to my clubbing youth, so I was still going out to nightclubs, and I wasn't interested in sitting in and
grinding a
playing
game all
video
day.
games. Yeah, I just wasn't interested. And then something happened which meant I had to spend a lot more time at home. So I gave in and got an Xbox. Bought the Destiny collection. So I grinded through the whole story in that the King's Fall sort of what was it called, expansion Taken King.
Taken
Yeah,
King.
taking King.
So yeah, all the base story, Taking King and everything. And then when Rise of Iron was the day of release, I was sort of like up to date. So Wrath of the Machine was the first raid that I did. So yeah, I hold a fondness for it. That raid
Yeah,
definitely, because it would be my first one, and I think that's the same with everybody. Your first raid, you always remember, don't you?
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I distinctly remember my first raid. We did not get the clear. It was with well, I started out. A guy was like, "Hey, you should try some of the raids." Right? It was a guy who was not as big into it as I was, but he had heard the buzzword raid, and he said you should go try some raids. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so because I don't have friends that do it. I would have to LFG it, and my previous rating experience was from World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft rating back in the day was a very um, elitist and a very um, what's the word I'm looking for? Very
Leroy Jenkins.
yeah, kind of a toxic environment, right?
Mm.
Where if you made a mistake, you'd be like, okay, you're out. Boot
You're out.
boot this
Yeah.
guy, you're out. Um, but back to a previous topic that we were on just a few minutes ago. If you look at the Deep Stone Crypt Triumph for the title, for the seal, there actually are 4 challenges in there. There is the Red Rover Challenge, the Copy of Copies Challenge, the Of All Trades Challenge, and the Core 4 Challenge. So those are the 4 challenges for the Deep Stone Crypt. Um, as we know, sometime later, like probably in a few weeks, they'll start releasing the challenge modes, and there'll be one per encounter. So,
Mm.
uh, assuming that they're in the proper order in the Triumph book, Red Rover would be for the first encounter, um, You would assume that has something to do with operator buff.
Yeah, that would be just have one operator, probably, won't it?
And probably where you have to pass that around, maybe. Where maybe one person has to shoot each of the things, right? So a guy goes down, he shoots one, then he has to come out, put the buff in the thing. Somebody else grabs it, goes down and does it. That's assuming. The second one is called, and this is completely me making it up as we are talking. The second one is copy of copies. You would assume that is the second encounter.
Yeah,
which would be Atrax. And I don't know what that would be.
I would assume to
maybe you have to. I don't know what that would be. Then of all trades, which is, I think that's probably in the obviously the third encounter where you introduce the suppressor, right? And that is when I was kind of thinking maybe you have it to where everybody has to hold each buff, has to do something with each buff during that encounter, or maybe either everybody has to do each job, or you can only hold a buff once. And then the core 4 would be the last encounter, obviously. And I think that is likely the strat that we've started using now, where you dunk all 4 charges at every DPS phase. So instead of and I don't want to spoil it for you, Nym.
Oh, you're all good. Go for it, man. I have no idea what I'm getting into as soon as this podcast is over. So if you want to give me any tips and tricks, I'm all for it.
So the last encounter, Tanix kind of moves around, and then you have to shoot cores, the nuclear cores, off of the boss. They're basically in the spots where tires would be on a car. Right. Front left, front right, back left, back right.
So on his little fan blade things.
Yeah, and basically the roles there are, you have the suppressor does the same job that they do in the previous encounter, where you have to shoot the boss from 3 different locations in order to stun him, which brings the disposal sites online so that you can actually get rid of the balls. The scanner guy, what they do is they look around and they see which 2 of the disposal sites you use to dispose of the cores. Mm-hmm. So you shoot off 2 of the cores, then people take those charges and they go and they dispose of them in 2 of the things. Well, the strat that we've been using more recently, the last few runs that we've done, is you go ahead and shoot all 4 cores off, and then you dispose of all 4 cores. Well, that makes the scanner obsolete, because it's going to be everywhere that is not in the area where the boss went. So I think we're probably already using the challenge strat for that encounter. But yeah, so there are going to be additional challenges. There's another one called 5 Seconds to Paradise. Defeat Atrax while destroying all servitors within 5 seconds of each other. That's going to be interesting. And then there's another one called Resource Contention, which is shut down Crypt security while only using 2 of the 3 augmentation terminals.
Yeah.
Damn, 5 seconds in between each other. I wonder if that would mean base team and space team together.
Yeah, it will do. Yeah,
I would assume so. Yeah, you'll have to
leave the bottom ones up, and then. But the thing with that is, will it be every time that they spawn? Yeah, it will be, won't it? So.
Yeah, but that all comes down to ad clear, right? I mean, if you get the ads clear and just let the servitors come, and then rush them with swords, and then you do just like you do the boss. You say, okay, hit the servitor in 3, 2, 1, go, and then everybody hits their servitor at the same time.
You can do it that way.
That middle one's going to be a little bit of a bitch, to be honest. Downstairs, the middle one, because it hangs out near the boss, and that boss can stomp you away.
Yeah.
That was my issue yesterday during Atrax.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
The one of the strats at the moment on getting, I don't know if you've done this, Dags, on the bosses to dunk 4 of the bombs all in one go. Have you done that, Dags?
You mean in the final encounter?
The final encounter, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, where you shoot down all 4 of the cores off the boss, and then you you just take all 4 of them at the same time, and I think that's probably the
Oh,
strat.
sorry, is that what you?
That's okay.
Terrible.
I
I
dude,
think there's no doubt for a
I
minute.
know that it has been a long day for you. You streamed
Yeah,
for, like
yeah,
you've already streamed for 12 or 14 hours, so I
yeah,
know
yeah,
that it's been
Whew.
long that
yeah.
day.
That's a
Apologies.
long stream. Damn, good
And
shit,
you
buddy.
know, you're
I am old.
I know from experience that you're getting of the age where you can't pay attention to everything.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm there, and I'm only 23. All right.
23.
that's, I'm
Just
double your age.
just for reference, Nim, my daughter is older than you.
I'm aware.
Yeah, my son's older than you as well.
Nah, it's all right. You guys do not play a lot of PvP, but
Yeah.
you know that gun literally nobody has used in so long, the Polaris Lance?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's freaking crazy good right now in PvP.
Really? Is that a
It's
scout?
It's good
It's a
in a
scout.
lot of it's good in a lot of things right now. Since they put the
15% hit register or aim assist
well,
buff.
yeah, plus they put the it's one of the champions. It's not barrier, it's not unstoppable. It's the
Overload.
it's the overload. Since they put overload on scout rifle on the arms and took it off of being on the weapon, so you can actually use an exotic and it is ridiculously good for that right now because it hits hard. It's solar, so you can use it to take shields off. You can also possibly get a collat off of something that has a solar shield to get it to proc, and you get fifth times the charm. And especially if you work and got the catalyst done for it, it is really good right now for that.
I have the catalyst, but I have yet to finish the catalyst because that gun was garbage when I first got it. I've been messing around with it in Crucible lately. I haven't tried it out in PvE, but I might have to check that out. Have you guys been using Fourth Horseman in the raid? I've had a lot of people tell me to use Fourth Horseman.
Fourth Horseman is a solid choice. I don't use Fourth Horseman. I use, and the reason I don't is because it's exotic. That is the only reason.
Right.
For the last encounter, I use a slug shotgun. I use a Philo, first in, last out, with Vorpal weapon on it, and I use Anarchy. That way, I can stick the boss with Anarchy, and it's sitting there ticking while I'm just dumping my slug shotguns on it.
See,
Yeah, I use first in, last out. I like that, Dags. Philo. Yeah, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, Philo is actually a very old-ish computer term for a it's called a special file, and it's basically first in, last out. It's like a pipeline. So
Beautiful.
you feed something to it, and the first thing you put in is the last is.
Oh yes, I love it. I'm a fan of an acronym. I've got to admit, I'm a big fan of an acronym. A 4-letter acronym. That just blows my mind. But yeah, I use that. I use the Philo. I use Anarchy. But today I've been running double slug shotties.
double
so I've
slugs.
I've been running the raid one as a primary slug.
That is
pretty good damage.
Right now, from what I can tell, that is the DPS strat. It's not something everybody can do. Number one, you need at least one person running a. It is helpful to have at least one person running a divinity, right?
We got a guy with divinity.
So. And then you can run people with Philo, and then also, I generally like to have at least one guy with like a primary SMG, something for clearing ads. It's not necessary, but it does. For some people, it is better.
Also the operator as well when he's shooting the bubbles.
Yes. And now another tip, Nim, for when if you're running suppressor on the last encounter. So you have to be standing in the spot and do damage to the boss, and then go to the next spot and do damage, and then do a total of 3 times, right? So you have to stand in 3 different spots. If you tag the boss with Anarchy when you're standing in the first spot,
you just gotta run.
And then just zip to the second one and zip to the third one. You really only have to shoot him once.
I was using Summoner yesterday during first phase Taniks, and I would start up at the top right, middle, top left, and I would just be pre-firing as soon as I even hit the second circle, and then jump up, turn around, and be already pre-firing again. So I wasn't up there very long. For me, that damage phase lasted a total of probably 3-4 seconds.
Right.
If that. But I need to get Anarchy. I don't have it. I gotta buy it with Spoils of War. Speaking of Spoils of War, is there any possible way to farm that? Because I only have 10, and I've done almost the entire raid.
Yes, 100%. So what we did yesterday with some clanmates, because they're in the same situation, it costs like 200 and whatever Spoils of War.
250.
So what we were doing is we were just running the first encounter. So you go past the Sparrow part into the first encounter with the fuses.
Mm-hmm.
And we were reliably one phasing it, and we were just running it over and over and over again. So you do the normal checkpoint. You have somebody come in, get there, wipe, have them switch characters, run the first encounter, have them load back into the raid, and then the rest of the raid team join back on them and run it again. We were getting about 5 after your first clear. You still get 5 Spoils of War for every encounter that you clear. So we were getting 5 Spoils of War in about 5 minutes, and that was including load time and all that other stuff. So you're still looking at 4 hours, because I don't know what I had done, but everything was costing me $240 instead of $250. But yeah,
maybe because you already own them all.
It could be, but I can just print them out of collections.
That's true.
Yeah, so I don't think that was it, but it could have been, just because of something I'd done during my grinding. But yeah, it would take me about 4 hours to buy a new one, but 4 hours considering what you're looking at, being able to get a Anarchy or a Ariana's Vow, which is also another really good exotic for certain purposes.
It's another one I need to get for GMs coming up.
Yep. But yeah, that's the shortest encounter. That was our summation, is that was the shortest encounter to do, and we were just farming it over and over and over again, and we were getting about average of about 1 per minute, and that included loading in, loading out, and all that other stuff.
That's crazy.
On the old raids as well, you get I think you get 3 per encounter instead of 5. You can always do the old raids as well if you get a bit bored of grinding DSC.
Shit, yeah, I could always just go Riven Cheese all day. That takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you get one for Riven.
Really?
I think you would probably get one from Queen's Walk, because that's where you get the Spoils of War from the chest, and there is no chest at the end of Riven.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You would probably have to do Queen's Walk instead of Riven.
I've actually never completed Queen's Walk.
Have you not got 1,000 voices then?
No.
Oh, Nym.
The only thing I've ever done in Last Wish was...
Here's what you need to do, Nym. It is absolutely worth your money. Use the NVIDIA GeForce experience so that you can play on a PC. Like, it doesn't have to be like a stout enough PC, but you can still play the game. And just hook up with Granddad or I, and we will run you through those every week. Before the launch of Beyond Light, we were running probably anywhere from 3, if it was just one group, to 15 Rivens and then Queen's Walks every week, just to help people get those exotics. And we were actually running a ton of Scourge of the Past to help people get the Anarchy, which now you can't do, but
true.
Yeah, we can absolutely help with that stuff.
Yeah, my laptop is literally like 6 years old. It is a piece of junk, and I don't even think it could run that NVIDIA software. So, it runs my editing software, barely, but it works. No, I'm saving up for my PC, man. It's going to take a minute, but I can't wait to have it built.
It's... I'm glad I made the switch to PC. I was always an Xbox gamer.
That's how I am. I don't know if I'll play PC full time for the simple fact that I'm good on Xbox, and if I come over to PC, I'm gonna get my ass handed to me by Lucky and all them, and I think I want to stay dominating the Xbox side of PvP for now.
Yeah, yeah.
um, no, I'll
I
definitely
was like
try it out.
that. I thought that I'd switch between the two, but I did that for probably a week, and
Hmm.
then I just never looked back.
I feel
It's
that.
just the frames. The frames. I mean, I know it's different with the new consoles, but the frames and
Yeah.
also used to mouse and keyboard. Switching back to controller, like not an option now.
Well,
Uh,
hopefully crossplay comes in the future, and we'll
yeah,
have support for that.
I did. I switched back and forth for a while, probably a few weeks, like Granddad said, and I still do. I'll still come back, like when Lilu, when I first met Lilu, we helped her with the GM or two on the
Mm.
Xbox, and it was fun. Um, but at the same time, it's I found that I am absolutely garbage now with controller.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel that, dude. I feel
I
that.
did it
That's
with for one of my IRL friends. I've known him like since I was early teens. Uh,
So the '60s.
and yeah, in
oof.
oh, that's you've been very kind now. It was actually 1940. Uh, yeah, so he needed a whisper, an outbreak. So I jumped back on to do them missions with him and found it really challenging to use a controller again.
Yeah,
Phew, it's amazing how quickly you can unlearn something, isn't it?
yeah, it really is.
Yes.
Especially at
I
our age, Dags.
Yes.
I have a happy medium between mouse and keyboard shooters and controllers. So like I'll play Modern Warfare on my Xbox, which has controller and mouse and keyboard support. So I use mouse and
Right.
keyboard on there. That way I don't lose my mouse and keyboard skill. So I'll play that for like an hour or two a week and then go back to controller.
Right. Oh, so did you come from PC in the first place?
Uh, way back when I was like a little kid, yeah. Probably back when like Minecraft launched and shit. I was playing like Minecraft and like World of Warcraft and shit like that. But
Right,
so
right.
yeah, yeah. I guess technically, yeah, I came from PC and then over to console.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I've known people to go obviously the other way, like me and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my friends, but
I don't mind console. I like the I don't know. It's just I don't know. I've built most of my community around Xbox, and so it's going to be kind of hard for me to go to PC. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to.
mm, it is. It's going to be especially hard for you if you have got a community on Xbox.
Hmm.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
get so many people in my chat asking when I'm going to play on Xbox and
Hmm.
things like that. As soon as they've heard that I've actually got one and I've come from Xbox, they ask me to go back and plug my Xbox in and jump on with them. But so I get that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
go
and
ahead.
I will go back to console and to help people out. I haven't gotten Beyond Light. It was just it didn't make the original investment. But as needs arise, if people need it, I will go back to console to help people out.
Well, you
But
actually won't need to buy it. It's on Game Pass.
right,
Right.
Um, yeah, it is on Game Pass now, which is amazing. Um, I pre-ordered mine. Give Bungie my money one more time for not nerfing Felwinter's Lie again. Um, I fucking hate that gun. That's the triggering point for me in my streams, and chat knows it too. As soon as the Felwinters, as soon as I get killed by Felwinters, it's a whole nother attitude
Oh,
for me.
that's because you can be outranged by fell winners, and you're using your beloved Skyburner's oath.
Yep,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
So did you not get as triggered by Mind? Was it Mind Benders?
Mindbenders is just as irritating. But it also doesn't have the same range as Felwinter's, at least not the same kill range. But it's still just as irritating. Astral Horizon is also just as irritating. But right now, on
You're
console,
just not a shotgun lover.
right? On console right now, the most annoying guns to go against are Last Word, Mida Multi-Tool. What else have people been using? People have been using Aerontil a lot. Felwinter's is go figure. That new fusion rifle from Europa people were using at first, then they nerfed the shit out of it, and now nobody uses it.
Do people still use Bygones on console?
Oh my god, dude, Bygones is crazy.
Yeah.
Bygones is like 1.5 tapping people. You don't even need to get the second burst off. You hit them in the head, they die. Oh, it's insanely good.
You don't run up against a lot of No Time to Explain.
Oh yes, I do, and it's annoying.
The problem that I have with using No Time to Explain is my little portal buddy has better aim than I do. And it's just depressing because I'll miss, and the guy will die anyway because my portal's shooting him better than I am.
Don't talk to me about aim. I really do need to start putting some time into like Kovac or Aim Lab or something. But like you must have heard me whinge about this. If you ever pay attention, Dags, which I'm sure you don't most of the time, but I always talk a lot about my game sense is just non-existent. Sometimes I'll run into, I'll end up in a 3v1 multiple times in one Crucible match.
That's how
I'm the same. I am the same way.
Put so much time into Crucible. I should be better than I am. Do you know what I mean? And it frustrates me.
I had. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had probably the craziest game of survival I've ever played yesterday. I was with 2 of my clanmates. They both were dead. We had 0 lives remaining. I was the last guardian standing, and the enemy team had 4 lives remaining. And I knocked all 4 of their lives out and won that round.
Nice.
My team was freaking out. They're like, oh my god, he just did that. I cannot wait to edit that. Oh man, that feeling was incredible. I have never done that in all of my time playing survival because that's all I play. I only play survival. I don't touch any of the other game modes except Trials and Iron Banner when Iron Banner comes out.
Right.
See, I also prefer survival. To me, it seems like the game is slowed down a little bit.
Yes.
It's not as hectic. You're not getting shot from behind. You're not getting, I'm engaging this guy and some guy from across the map is sniping me because, I can't account for 6 people that don't show up on the radar. So I prefer.
Yeah, it seems like more of a fair fight, doesn't it?
So,
I mean, again, I know I keep going on about it, but I think it's age again. I think it's.
You're 100% right. But you also mentioned Kovacs. We used to me and another guy that I used to play with every day. I played with him every day for years. And we would every once in a while we'd be playing, and then we'd just in the middle of our conversation, talking with stream, we'd say, and that was brought to you by Kovacs 2.0, the meta. Because if you use an aim trainer like that, if you stay on it, it can make a ton of difference. I mean, it's the difference in getting on a body shot and getting on a headshot so often.
Really? Yeah.
It really is. And it just makes you aware. It makes you very aware of your target and how your target moves, right? And like normally, especially for me, because I do so much, I am almost strictly PvE. You can predict how something is going to move, so you can kind of cheese it. You can kind of anticipate movement, but then with PvP, not so much. So you have to
ballpark.
You have to pay attention to this guy can be moving this way and immediately move back that way, and he's doing the whole crouch spamming, whatever. But with Kovacs, you have to pay attention in order to bring your scores up. You have to pay attention not to where you think the target's going to be, but where the target is at this precise nanosecond. and it really makes a ton of difference. Now,
I'm gonna put some time into it.
for it to really have its effect, you need to use it like on a daily basis, and that's what we would do. We would play Destiny, and then at the end of Destiny, we would stay in our Discord channel, and we would just do Kovacs for like an hour a day,
Right.
and it made a huge difference. But then streaming, right? I got bigger into the streaming thing, and so there's gaming, then there's streaming, then after stream you're hanging out with other with other streamers, because the community, it became less about playing the game and a lot more about the community for me. I now um game to get to be part of the community. It's really, the community is my focus.
That's essentially where I'm at as well.
Yeah, even more so. And it's it's hanging out with the guys, and now if I still do play off stream some. Like if I think that I'm going to be doing something boring and it's not going to be good content, I'll do that off stream. But it's more about hanging out with the guys, right? Hanging out with people like Granddad and Unim and the guys that come in every day to just say hello and chat about this and that. It's more about that than it is actually playing the game, which is good and bad, because, and this is really kind of off topic from the our original topic, but
Right.
For me, it's more about the community, but at the same time, because of that, it has kind of shifted some friendships around, and that is, it's an unfortunate side effect, but I think in the end, it's good for everybody involved.
Yeah. It does. It does affect some friendships, definitely. I've noticed that myself. Because you just don't have how can I put it? Some people just don't. You can't put the same effort into them friendships as well sometimes, can you? Because you're busy talking to chat or talking to other people, and it's like you're in the conversation, but you're not. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's part of it, as well as, like, we used to have a three-man team that would, we did everything together, and then we started kind of, well, today we'll run with the two of us and we'll pick up somebody else because it adds a different perspective, or it's somebody that needs help. And then people started kind of feeling a little more left out, a little more, a little more on their own. And so then, some people are like, cool, let's go. That's great. It's part of the community. I'll blend in with the community for now, and I'll come back, and then tomorrow it'll be me and you, and the other guy will be blending in with the community. Some people, fit into that role easily. Other people, a little more,
reserved and stuff.
yeah, a little more reserved, a little more tightly bound than that. And sometimes those people just fade away, and that is unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right.
So I guess the last thing I have to ask, so have you guys run into any bullshit lately in Destiny? Just anything that irritates you, or that you wish was changed?
Invisible Titans.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was something I was gonna talk about too. That's irritating. I've had it happen to me a few times. It's very irritating. There's also a glitch with the damn Titans right now where you can shoulder charge without having to sprint. And it is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just at the moment it's just a broken game, and it really is.
Yeah.
Where PvP is concerned.
PvP, the first week of Beyond Light was chaotic as hell. With stasis and everything, but now I'm to the point where stasis doesn't even bother me. It actually feels pretty balanced. I mean, well, yeah, for the most part, because the hunters seem overpowered, but in reality they're not really overpowered, because if you miss your tornado is slow as shit.
Yeah.
But overall,
it's killed me every time. because I'm slow as shit.
Yeah, the tornado is slow as shit, and it tracks you, but it doesn't really track you. And as long as you stay away from it, you'll be okay. But yeah, I'm pretty bummed that trials might get canceled. I'm hoping they fix this shit real quick so that we can get on to our regular PvP end game and deal with players that are sweatier than sweats. But
Yeah. I mean, whether you agree with recovs or not, it's the people who make a living out of them that I feel most sorry for.
yeah,
Right.
Because rightly or wrongly, if people want to pay for achievements and stuff, that's their business. I don't judge. I don't really care. I wouldn't do it myself. I wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. Like if someone got on my account and got me the flawless title, I wouldn't wear it. There's no way I'd wear it because I
right.
wouldn't feel like I've earned it. And plus,
Yeah,
everyone would know as well that I paid for it because there's no way I'm getting the flawless title. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I've been flawless, but again, that was a hard carry. But yeah, I wouldn't judge anyone who wants to do it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
to each
must
their
they must
own.
be
I
really
mean,
feeling the pinch. Them recov people must be really feeling it.
I personally will never pay for anything in Destiny to another player. Um, yeah, that's just me too. I have pretty much the same opinion. I rather just earn it. Feels better.
Yeah,
Um,
of course it does. Yeah, yeah.
but I'm pretty sure I actually ran into a dude today that paid for a flawless carry because he had the flawless emblem. And this guy
Yeah.
had a .02 KD at the end of the game. And I'm like, yeah, there's no freaking
No
way
way.
that this
Yeah,
guy was flawless. This guy just went 2 and like 30. I'm like,
yeah, right.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
just no way that
When
guy
I
was.
made flawless, I think it was 2 weeks before Beyond Light came out, uh, and I played with two like really good players.
Mm,
Uh, Shout out to Strider and Awkward Spade. And they hard carried me. There's no way in the world. I mean, when I played with like the normal group, I think the most of on the first week, I think we got to game 7 about 3 or 4 times.
nice.
But then all the other times, the furthest I've got is like 4 games, 5 games. Yeah, I'm definitely not the PvP. Definitely not proficient in PvP. 100%.
Me and my fire team, Scott and Tide. It's kind of hard to play with Tide sometimes because he's from the UK as well, so the time zone kind of screws us. But that's my main fire team. But so it's Scott and Tide. Well, we started playing Trials about, let's say, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Our first 2 weeks were so bad that we were unmotivated to play Trials, but I encouraged them to play Trials. We did not get a single win whatsoever. And I think the last time we played Trials, just before Beyond Light, we won 6 games out of, and then we lost 3 in a row, and it sucked ass. But I hate Trials. Trials is terrible, but I love it at the same time because like I'm that competitive when it comes to my PvP. So it feels awesome to play Trials, but I also hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Being a PvP main in Destiny 2 is not a fun experience whatsoever.
There are some. There's just some annoying. I mainly get because I just know people are better than me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Well,
It's like
so back to a topic that we covered earlier in the podcast. There is that, but there is no way that you will convince me that age doesn't come into that. With people of like mine and granddad's age, and we're 2 years apart. I'm 2 years older than he is.
Mm.
You just don't have the reaction time and the and there's another thing, like with other sports, learning to do something at a younger age, it becomes a little more what's the word I'm looking for? There's a muscle memory there that you just don't have picking it up at an older age. And I really think in it, call it an excuse if you like. I think there is I think we're at a disadvantage. I just think, younger people, you know, are better at it than we are, just intrinsically. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some guys that are our age that are just beasts, but I think that is. I'd love to see what it'd be like if they had, if they had started at the same time as some of these kids that are just tearing it up.
Yeah.
And maybe I am completely off base, but to me, it does seem like starting when you're older has a negative impact on your performance.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I can see
It
that
does,
probably. Yeah, because reaction time.
Yeah, this is turned into an old man moaning podcast, isn't it? About how bad we are. I like it.
It's all good.
There's no way you're gonna have you and I on here and it not turn into an old man thing. I started to ask if we could have C Northwest on here with us, but that just seemed like 2-on-1, and it seemed like it may go sideways. So
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
guys,
probably would, actually,
like I
yeah.
said, if you guys ever want to be in an episode, you guys let me know and we'll schedule it. I'm going to be doing these weekly and trying to get as many people involved. I'd like to end up, if this ever takes off one of these days, I'd like to have like the same people on there every week. Same people that are just knowledgeable about Destiny, have a good time. And not just like PvP, but PvE as well. Have it like a good mixture of the two. I don't know. I think it'd be a good time. I love talking about Destiny. I could talk about it for freaking hours. But
I think we
I
all could.
do have one question because I know you guys will probably know this, but have you heard a damn thing about Hawk Moon yet?
I've heard different things. The YouTuber guy who I won't mention, but
You can mention him if you want.
it's the first time ever he's not dropping his name.
yeah, Houndish. I'm not going to see who was talking about earlier. Who messed up our raid? No, he didn't mess up our raid. Well, I'm joking.
He's gonna listen to this. Be careful.
Do it for Houndish. Do it for Houndish.
Yeah. He mentioned that it could be January, but then this week I've heard it could come on Tuesday.
I hope to God it comes on Tuesday because PvP is over, man. I'm screwing people up with that gun.
And also that it's going to be, there's rumours that it's going to be a quest in there, like a secret mission. But I think that's Paul Tassi with his tinfoil hat on, making links between the ornaments, because they've only ever brought 2 ornaments out at a time for Whisper and 0 Hour, I think. That's his theory, and there's two ornaments for Hawk Moon in the database. So
that would be pretty interesting.
That actually is based on my experience. That is solid logic.
Yeah, that makes total sense too. Because like every DLC we've had, well, not every DLC I'll say, but we always do have like that one secret mission. 0 Hour and Whisper the Worm.
Yeah,
they that would make sense. And the 2 ornaments, yeah. Because most other guns just get a single ornament right off the bat. The new sword and that damn grenade launcher I can't remember the name of, but they only have a single ornament apiece. So yeah, that makes total sense.
We will see. We will just have to be something that I don't think Destiny players are very good at, is having a bit of patience, won't we?
Patience and time. Patience and time.
Yeah,
God, I hope they bring that back too.
Everything seems to get leaked these days.
Right.
I think that with it being on PC, I think that's because when it was just on Xbox and on consoles, there was no way you could hack into the game files to find out.
No, it was very, very freaking hard to get a hold of the game files. Back on 360, I actually managed to do it, but it was you would have to copy a game onto like a flash drive, and of course that would take 20,000 years, and then you had to recode it all on on your PC or laptop or whatever, just to be able to actually open the files.
Yeah.
I did that one time with, I want to say it was House of Wolves, and House of Wolves came out. I think that's when I did it, but I haven't done it since. I could care less. I'll leave that to the data miners.
Yeah. What's he called? Ginsaw and his crowd. He's one of the main data miners, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is he still around him? He's I think he pops up on raid secrets now and again, isn't there? Oh, have you heard that as well? Have any of you done the Last Wish lately?
I have
No.
not.
There's since Beyond Light, some oracles have been added, and they're moving each week. The oracles from like the Vault of Glass and stuff. Then noises have been added into the Last Wish.
I wonder why Last Wish.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, and I may be completely off base, but there were two storylines that have been out since Forsaken that never got really that were like kind of the what do you want to say, the string in the sweater was picked, but it was never unraveled completely. One was what happened to Aldrin.
Beautiful
right?
analogy, Dad. Beautiful analogy. Sorry, carry on.
His acronyms, gotta love him.
I know he's got acronyms, analogies, metaphors. He's got the whole lot. Sorry, mate. Go on.
You're good. The one story was Aldrin Sov, right? They showed that he was alive again, right? Because the ghost found him and made him a guardian, but they never addressed it. Months, years they went and never addressed what happened. They were just like, yeah, chances are he's somewhere, maybe, right? But we don't know anything. Well, they finally, at least brought that story to the forefront. And I think we're going to see, I think we're going to see the finally the conclusion of that storyline, which to me is terrific. I think that's great.
Right.
And the other one that they never addressed was the curse, right? We had the curse was low, medium, high weeks, and Marisol was there, and she came and she went away, and they kind of led you to believe that she was off somewhere fighting some supernatural battle off in a different dimension, and maybe she would come back at some point, right? And you would always, every week you would go and you would do your quest that included the blind well, and then you would go to see her and she wouldn't be there, but the person standing in front of the portal would say something to the effect of, maybe she'll come back sometime, and we expected her to come back. She never came back. And then they also put some speculation at one time into if somebody reached light level 999 and did a solo flawless of the Shattered Throne, maybe that would do something that would end the curse.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing ever ended the curse, right? But with it being, with there being something else going on, especially in the Last Wish raid, which is all about, that curse, maybe they are planting the seed to eventually develop the storyline that eventually ends the curse in the Dreaming City. And especially if at some point in the future they're going to Vault of Dreaming City.
Yeah. And also to keep the Last Wish in as well. Take
right.
Crown of Sorrow out, but keep Last Wish in. And Scourge as well. Taking that out, but keeping Last Wish in. It might be something
Scourge came out after Last Wish, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought, because I actually took my break from Destiny right when Forsaken came out. I finished the main campaign, didn't do any of the in-game shit, and quit right then and there. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this game. Cade died. I'm going to go play Overwatch for the rest of my life. And that's what I did for years. But I think you're right. Plus the 15th wish, right? Or right? Am I saying it?
There is. Yes, there's no 15th wish. I think with it being oracles, I think there is also a possibility, and this is tinfoil hat. I probably need to go talk to Granddad's tinfoil hat guy. But maybe that there is a 15th wish that has something to do with opening of the Vault of Glass at some point.
Yeah.
And that would answer the what's going on with the oracles and why we never got a 15th wish. Maybe, I don't know. But that there's definitely some meat on the bone there that could be used at some point to bring us some new content in a neat and exciting way.
I knew that they were gonna. Go ahead.
I've been curious, very curious to see, with the vaulting of content, it made lore sense, right? As far as, okay, well, these planets were overtaken, right? They were overtaken by the darkness. We can no longer get there. That's why you can't get to, Crown of Sorrow, because it was on Nessus. That's why you can't get to Leviathan. That's why you can't get to, but I think they kind of made a break there when you couldn't get to Scourge of the Past, right? Because it was technically on the EDZ portion of the map, and the EDZ is still there. So I'm not sure that made sense. But as far as the others, right, it made sense. You can't get to this content anymore because it is on a planet that is going away because the darkness overtook it. And I've been wondering, how do they bring back Vault of Glass
Venus
and make it make sense within the game? Maybe they introduce Venus, or introduce some sort of a time travel type mechanic with the Vex. But if it is somehow all tied in with the Black Garden,
Dreaming City and all that.
Yeah, somehow, maybe. So we'll see.
I imagine you're probably correct when it comes to Dreaming City, because oracles have appeared in The Last Wish, then that's the only logical answer. Because the last time we saw oracles at all in Destiny 2 was the Whisper of the Worm mission, when you had to get the quest for the ship, and they made the same sounds and everything. So I assumed they were oracles. They probably weren't, knowing me, but
yeah, they were oracles. Not only that, that portal right there where you shoot the oracles is you can look through it and you can see into the Vault of Glass.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you could go back and run, if you can find some old footage of somebody, and if I can go back through my VODs, I can
think
pull
I
it out.
have a recent VOD saved from when I was doing the Oracle. I clipped the Oracle part so I could send it to my buddies so they would know the code.
Yeah, then you could, as you approach that portal there that you stand in front of to shoot the oracles, you can look through that portal, and it's a shimmery image of the entrance of Vault of Glass. Not like the outside entrance, but in the rocky jumping puzzle near the Gorgon maze. You can actually see into the Vault of Glass there. And along, when I heard that they were bringing back Vault of Glass, I was like, okay, that makes sense, right? Something's going to happen. We activate this portal, we go through the portal, we're in Vault of Glass. But now that's gone because it was on IO. But them bringing it through the Last Wish, based on what we have in the game currently, makes some sense. We'll have to see how they bring it about. But there being oracles in the Vault of Glass in Last Wish kind of leaves hope that there's going to be at least some story tie-in.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably going to be some Vex invasion or something in the Dreaming City, because there's nothing but Scorn there and some Vex, right? Yeah, there's Vex in the Dreaming City, right?
It's mainly Scorn and Hive.
Yeah. I imagine we're just going to end up having some kind of portal that we're going to end up going through, kind of like Garden of Salvation in a way. I imagine they're just probably going to introduce a new area within the kingdom, and we'll probably end up doing something there. It's probably going to be some kind of Vex invasion. At least I would assume. I don't know. The Vex are always trying to kill something.
But, yeah. We've had Vex invasions on the moon before, so I could see it tying into the moon somehow. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm about to go back through Last Wish and check that out. I did not know that. Good info.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a look.
Oh yeah, for sure. But all right, do you guys have anything else you guys would like to speak about? If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up.
I just want to thank you. I want to give a wholehearted endorsement of Granddad Gaming here. You'll notice just pretty much every stream that he does, I'm there hanging out in his
Oh, I
chat.
know. I lurk
He is
all the time.
he is a great working lurk guy. So I really enjoy that, and I want to thank you again, Nym, for inviting us and all that you do. And I really wish the best for this podcast. And anytime you're looking for somebody, you feel free to hit me up. I don't know if people will get tired of hearing from me, but
I
but I
doubt
really,
it. You're probably one of the more knowledgeable PvE people I know, next to Lilu and Granddad here. So I doubt it.
Yeah.
it's been a great experience.
Oh, I'm loving it.
I echo Dagsy's comments as well. Yeah, if you ever need, you can always call on me. And I'd say nice things about Dags, but that's not in my personality. But if you, I'd recommend both of you to anyone. But if you have to subpar PVE and below average, I won't go into the sales spiel.
You guys are awesome.
Well, you do know, and this is kind of diverting from our outro here, but if anybody needs the here always pieces to unlock the Varix bounties, right? To unlock the Varix tree.
Me.
One of the ways to do that is on Europa, do patrols, and the world's leader in speed running patrols, I have been told by a very reputable source, is Granddad Gaming.
Thank you very much.
That is his specialty, is speed running patrols. So if anybody needs help speed running patrols, Granddad Gaming is your guy.
Yeah, I am the sole reason they put heroic patrols in the game.
So patrols are the fastest way to do it?
Well, there's
with me.
There are patrols, and then there are lost sectors. If you look, you can get those things from getting precision kills on the on Europa. You can also get them from lost sectors. You can also get them from patrols.
That's how they drop. So precision kills give you a here always.
And also stasis kills. Not always.
Okay.
But they have a chance, and so do stasis kills on Europa
that
as
would
well
explain a shit ton, because I had like 10 here always earlier, and because I just bought an expensive one from Varix, and I went into the 1250 lost sector, and when I got out of there I had like 48.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell happened? I thought that it was just the lost sector itself, not indeed that it's headshot kills. So that's good to know. I will keep that in mind.
I ran one earlier today. I was farming for a little bit, and I don't know what the deal was. It may have been because it was the first time I'd done that lost sector for the day, but I got a 10 drop out of the chest at the end. So it may be every one that you do
for the day
on Europa for the day will give you a 10 spot out of the gate, or it may be just your first one overall. We can do some research and
I'll say later. I'm about to get back on stream right now and go finish this raid, but I'll go check out a lost sector I haven't done on Europa, and I will send you a message on Discord if it drops a 10 for me.
Cool.
Right.
But all right, guys. Well, this has been SHIGITY episode 3 here with Dagshew and Granddad. If you guys want to check them out, I will leave a link to their channels down below. Thank you guys very much for coming on this episode. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And
no problem.
We will see you guys very soon. You guys have a good night.
Sounds good. Have a good one, Nym. Talk to you later, Granddad.
Bye-bye.